IVM.
Sometimes life decides something else for you and you just have to flow with it. I mean, that I apply to all my characters also. जैसे भूमि के साथ भी मैं उससे apply कर देती हूँ, नहीं तो मैं पागल हो जाऊंगी playing that character, you know. मेरे साथ भी ऐसे कुछ हुआ. I lost my mother when I was 15 and I couldn't take that shock. And my coach lost his daughter, 2-year-old daughter, to lung cancer. He couldn't take it. He was about 30 something. So I tried. I did come back. I ran for 6 more months. I couldn't do it. You know, the shock was too much. And I realized that probably I need to express in a different form. Running was one of my form of expression, but I realized now I need to speak probably, you know. So I thought, what best than a medium that allows you to speak different lives? Because this life was getting too much for me. It was stifling me in a way, you know.
Hello and welcome to the Filter Koffee Podcast. My guest today is one of the most exciting talents in Indian cinema. She's an athlete turned theatre actor turned film actor. In a very short span of time, Aaditi Pohankar has explored multiple worlds in the entertainment industry, including Marathi cinema, where she starred in the immensely successful Lai Bhari, Tamil cinema, and of course, Bollywood. Aditi starred in season 1 of the Netflix series She in 2020. She played the lead in this riveting series about a police constable called Bhumi, who also pretends to be a prostitute in the night and help dismantle a crime syndicate. I personally love this series for the freshness in the writing and the complexity of the characterizations. The series, of course, is written by Imtiaz Ali, and I feel the premise is geometrically opposite to any other film he's probably done so far. Season 2 of She drops on Netflix on the 17th of June. I spoke to Aditi about what drew an up-and-coming sprinter in the Maharashtra state circuit who idolized Usain Bolt into theatre and then to cinema. And I also asked her about bringing Bhumi's character to life in such a layered way. I really enjoyed my conversation with Aditi, mostly because of the beautiful way in which she articulates complex situations that happened in her life. I don't know why I was pleasantly surprised by that. I walked away after the recording thinking that she's a fascinating mind, not just in how she performs as a professional actor, but also in how she thinks as a human being. Stay with us. We'll be right back on the Filter Koffee Podcast.
Hello. It's been another great week here on the IVM Podcasts Network. On Cyrus Says Cock and Bull, Cyrus, Naveen, Utsav and Abbas discuss how COVID cases are on the rise in Mumbai. Introducing our new show, Intel vPro presents Future Proofing with Eklavya Bhattacharya, your one-stop shop for all things Web3, blockchain, metaverse and so much more. In the first episode, Eklavya talks to Advertising is Dead host Varun Dugirala about advertising on the web. On Simplified, Chuck, Shrikeet and Tony discuss why we aren't excited about smartphones anymore. On Paisa Vaisa, Anupam and Atul Suri, CEO at Marathon Trends, talk about trend investing principles. On Smarter with Sid, Siddharth explains the 3 pillars of content creation. And on All Things Policy, the Takshashila folk analyze the Lancet Commission report on financing primary healthcare. We've got some exciting news for you. IVM Podcast has just launched its merch, and our first line is out now. Head to the IVM Podcast's website and click on the shop tab to check out our first collection of t-shirts. Do follow us on social media. We are IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, don't forget to rate us on any platforms you're listening on. And you can also check us out on YouTube. We're also doing a small listener survey to better understand how you respond to our shows and advertising on the network. We would really appreciate it if you could spare a few minutes to fill it in. It helps us build better shows for you. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week. SBI Life Insurance, Apne Liye, Apno Ke Liye. Jupiter, a digital banking app. Capgemini, get the future you want. Intel vPro, built for business. And Intel, future banao wonderful with Intel-powered laptops.
Welcome to the Filter Koffee Podcast, Aditi. How's it going?
It's going very well. very exciting times for an actor when two shows come out at one time. So, and specifically with Bhumi, I've been very close to her because it's been a while that I've spent with her, and it's very, I would say, very different mind that Imtiaz sir has written. I think after a very long time, like I wouldn't imagine Imtiaz writing a thriller like this. So, very exciting time for me.
Totally right. Not at all the kind of genre any of us expected, from him. But, even before we get to Imtiaz, I saw season 1 and I was absolutely blown away. It was very, very explosive, right? Not the kind, I think the tone is set right from that first sequence, right?
Right.
And, I was just thinking to myself that this genre is not been explored much in India, right? So from season 1, what are the kind of reactions you heard from people who've seen it?
Well, Karthik, the way you rightly said, people really, have a boxed mindset about genres, right? That's why it's called a genre also. So people call it as a thriller, people call it as a, maybe, honey trap, and, it's been used for so long and this and that. But actually, if you look at it, it's almost like, I watch a lot of European cinema on Mubi, and for that matter, anyway, I mean, the films that I have watched and I've seen that they usually follow a single mind of a character. And that's what I saw new in this script, that you don't need a hero or iske saath ye track chahiye ya fir iske saath ye track ho raha hai because of some external thing. It's all happening organically. It's all happening through Bhumi's mind. And the mind is nothing but the writer's mind. So I think Imtiaz has taken a really big risk also, I would say, but it's very bold kind of a risk to actually try this out. Ki aap ek ladki ko kitne der tak aap follow karoge, tell me. You will get bored after some time, And doing a show which is, that time it was 9 episodes when we shot it, and then it went to 7 episodes. But doing that length for an actor also, yes, it's extremely exciting, but it's also very daunting. It's very, it came on to me at one point that at intervals I would ask myself, am I really doing this, because what if it doesn't work out? It did cross my mind. And then it was like a thought, you have another astral self talking to you and you're like, shut up, it's going to go well. And that's how I have gone ahead with it. नहीं तो अगर मैं उसको categorically सोचती ना कि मैं एक actress हूँ, मुझे एक typical गाने वाले movies से शुरू करना चाहिए. Even now people keep asking me, OTT films, this, that, why are you doing only OTT and why not films? I'm like, why aren't you looking at the fact that this is a great script? There are great scripts coming on OTT, and it's high time that we are bored of watching the same thing over and over again. वो ढुशुम का time गया है कहीं ना कहीं, पता है आपको? And now people need to know more about other people. For example, all over the world is coming close on platforms like Netflix, for that matter, because so many, like for example, I have never watched any Korean stuff, but only after Netflix was introduced to me, I started watching some light moments of that area, that sector of the society. And I used to feel great. Others, I would only watch Friends probably to lighten my mind. So to follow a mind and to sustain that mind, that was a big challenge for Imtiaz and me both. Because he has written it and he's left it to an actor after this. It's almost like you kind of make a paper boat as a craftsman and you put it in the river, and the river then eventually takes it forward. Now I became that river and the current of the flow was the audience who took me forward, very honestly, if I rightly put it. So I think that such things which, when you give so much energy, like I come from Prithvi, I come from stage. So I know one thing, that agar hamare 4 shows bhi hai din mein, we are all pepped up to do it all over again. 3 hours of shows for that matter. So the actor's stamina is something which is very important over here. And I think with a script like She, I did not get tired because I'm used to that kind of a drill in a way. Otherwise, switching, for example, in the first season, it was switching actually from the constable half a day and the prostitute the next day, and the next half of the day. So I did the same looks in the same day, like the different looks in the same day. But that has different mindsets. Yeah, because when Bhumi is in her constable outfit, she is very different compared to what she eventually becomes in the prostitute outfit. And I had to portray that in a single day. So ये मेरे लिए बहुत ही अच्छा एक, how do you say, it was a great rehearsal for me. Even if I go, say, not in India, and even if I go abroad and I know that I'm speaking Chinese language, I'll still be able to sustain it because of the kind of experience that I got here, or doing it, even for that matter, Tamil cinema, It's like another game altogether. That's why I stick to my lines, I stick to the commas, and I stick to the full stops, because then eventually you're an actor. You act or perform in any different language also, you understand the meaning of the lines and you stick to the lines the way they are placed by the writer, and you will really sail through very well.
I love how you put it. And, that entire transition, from being a constable to being a prostitute, it was so subtle, so organic. You started, talking about European cinema and movie. And I got to confess, the first season when I was about to watch it, one tends to read reviews. And like you rightly said, people had said this is a honey trap sort of a film. And I was expecting a very set piece, which has been done to death internationally sort of a thing, right? And was pleasantly surprised. The way, both you and Imtiaz and everyone involved have localized this. Right. This is a very, very Indian sort of a show, right?
Yeah.
And that's what really, really blew my mind. Talk to us a little bit about how you became a part of this project, because, like both of us mentioned at the beginning, this is not a very Imtiaz kind of a script.
Yeah.
What was your journey into becoming a part of She?
Well, it was very funny because I did practice theatre at Prithvi, and many a times I saw Imtiaz sir come watch plays with Makran sir, and I was always wanting to work with him. But I got to know from others that he will cast only industry kids. People told me all this about him, that he'll cast only maybe the next generations and this that. So don't even try; it's a waste of time. So I said, yeah, okay, hell, what is waste of time anyway? I'm just moving around here. I'm doing my work, doing plays, and I'm learning more. So, why not try? I always believe in trying to the T, like to the last bit, because of my sports background. Because I feel even when I ran the 100 and the 200 meters, even if I had an injury, and if I still give it my last this thing that let's try it out if it's not going to go really bad. And I have won Maharashtra, my first race, just like that. So I don't really believe in giving up. I think it's just a very, very lame excuse when people say, yaar, ye to cast nahi karenge. Ya. You are not trying enough. You are not giving it enough energy from your side that I want to do these scripts. I want to see myself and test myself, because it's also very scary, right? It's a very vulnerable state. Like the way I was told that probably this is how I went and met Imtiaz sir. Okay. The day, I'll tell you quickly what happened was I made a reel, like a moving folio. Okay, not the Instagram kind of reel, but a proper video shot with thought behind it. Bosco Bhandarkar shot it and Sachit Paulus was a DP on it. So very interesting that everybody knew what they want, because I just told them one thing, that I want love as the base and I want melancholy as its subtext. So let's do something around it and let's make me look good also in it. And let's do it for South cinema also, like South India also, and let's do it for Bollywood also. So how do we do it? Okay. So he said, Bosco was like really a cool guy. So he said, let's go to Goa and do it. So I made I went to Goa, I sorted the places. 6 months I worked on this reel. Okay.
Wow.
Getting people together, because I'm not a producer, right? I didn't know what a camera costs or what a Alexa Arri is, or I don't know anything what the lens would be required. I'm like, abhi kya chahiye? Abhi gimbal bhi chahiye. Acha, ye kitne ka aayega? अच्छा अभी क्या मतलब ये फ्लाइट से जाना पड़ेगा क्या इनको? अच्छा ट्रेन से नहीं जाएंगे? That kind of revelation started happening, and eventually I ended up spending every penny that I had in my account, and I came by train to Bombay. I came back by train. Because we're self-made kids, dude. We don't get like a cushioning or something like that. My dad is like, you want to do theatre? On your own, boss. Otherwise do MBA quietly, and then I'll support you. Otherwise, he was very clear. Though he was a theatre actor, and being Maharashtrians, it is an mandate in the house that you learn music, you do theatre. कुछ ना कुछ तो आना चाहिए कि जब आप बाहर जाओ, मतलब अगर शादी वादी हो रही है तो बात करने के लिए कोई टॉपिक होना चाहिए, वो ये होना चाहिए ताकि you all are rich because you all are Brahmins, this kind of thing always went wrong. So I'm sure in South also it's pretty similar, they are very driven with culture. So I was like, dude, let's do this. I came back by train, got it edited, and then there are everybody's egos. Why are you cutting it this way? Why are you cutting it that way? I learned that, and I was supported by my director Nishkant Kamath, late Nishkant Kamath now, and I told him, sir, मुझे कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है, आप मेरे को edit करके दो ना, because otherwise it's getting so long. Agency Bling was my agency that they are saying it's too long. This is that. So he helped me out, and we did it, and all that everything went. Then I happened to meet Imtiaz sir at a screening of some film that his brother had made, I think. And I was just generally talking to him. And Makran sir was there. He told me, go give him coffee. And I was like, okay. And I saw he's tall. So I just saw his head and some other many women taking pictures with him, and men and journalists and this and that. So I just put up my coffee up, and I was like, I kept doing this, and he's like, yeah, like as if, yeah, you click a picture with me later, that kind of thing. So I said, Imtiaz sir, your coffee is here. I screamed loudly. I said, buland awaaz mein. So he's like, oh, okay. And then he call me. So he kept calling me coffee girl after that. So मैंने उनको ना दूसरे दिन message किया, sir, I'm sending you my reel. This is the coffee girl. Please, can you watch it? Okay, no reply, nothing. Cut to next day, I see my phone and I'm like, yeah, he's not even replied. Yeah, what the hell? But I don't stop trying because I never do. So I messaged him again. I said, did you watch it? And unka reply है, no. I said, why no? Please watch it. I've really invested my time in it. Could you please watch it, sir? You know, I was like, what the hell? It came like very dil se. तो मुझे लगता है उनको ना जिंदा दिल ऐसे थोड़े बिंदास लोग पसंद है विद्या सबको. तो उन्होंने इमीडिएटली देखा और मुझे 5 मिनट में मैसेज किया saying that, are you free to meet? Can we meet at Indigo? And I met him and Aki Narula at Indigo over the script of She.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
That's how it worked out. And then after that also, of course, I went like this full on and he said, no, it's a very non-attractive, thandi girl. मैंने कुछ समझ में नहीं आया क्या बोल रहे थे. Because I was also going with a mindset that he does rom-com and, you know, like moment films, but something interesting with emotions, that kind of thing. But when he told me all this, this Ganpati time, I couldn't hear him properly. I kept asking him because I wanted to impress him also in that few minutes because I had only 10-15 minutes. And then, he told me, could you read it with me? I said, oh, you'll take my test. So that was a very, very good sign that the director himself, kind of tests you. And we did not test with lines. We tested with emotion. So he sat across. I sat across this thing. The office was just being made that time in Bungalows. Right. And he said that, I'll tell you these emotions, just emote them, sitting there. If you want to stand, you stand, but you don't cross this line. That's it. Okay. And then you can imagine what all She's emotions were. He told me to portray those emotions at that point. And I was used to it because from theatre, mostly Satyadev Dubey and, whatever little bit training I got from him. I understood that this is the game of the eyes. It has nothing to do with any other body language. So I just played with my eyes sitting on that couch. And I think that's how he decided that, we can go ahead with this girl. Otherwise, it's so scary to put it on a newcomer, right? And I was a newcomer. So, that's how I got it.
That's beautiful, right? I think I love how you making it sound so simple, but you're training from theatre, making you understand like this is how you want to deliver when the moment comes, etc. But mostly what I love about that story is that coffee is a central part of you getting the role, right? So which is fascinating. But, just going a little bit back, right? You come from, and if I have read this right, your parents were athletes themselves, right? And also trained in theatre. And you were a successful athlete at your level growing up, right? In the state level championships. What fascinated you towards theatre and then cinema while the entire world was open to you to do whatever you want?
Yeah. So, Karthik, sometimes life decides something else for you and you just have to flow with it. I mean, that I apply to all my characters also. जैसे Bhumi के साथ भी मैं उससे apply कर देती हूँ. नहीं तो मैं पागल हो जाऊँगी playing that character, तो मेरे साथ भी ऐसे कुछ हुआ. I lost my mother when I was 15 and I couldn't take that shock. And my coach lost his daughter, 2-year-old daughter, to lung cancer. He couldn't take it. He was about 30 something. So I tried. I did come back. I ran for 6 more months. I couldn't do it. The shock was too much. And I realized that probably I need to express in a different form. Running was one of my form of expression, but I realized now I need to speak probably, So I thought what best than a medium that allows you to speak different lives. Because this life was getting too much for me. It was stifling me in a way, And losing my mother was not a very, she actually just passed away in a jiffy with fever in 3 days. So there was no time to understand what happened or grieve or whatever. It was just like, wow, what happened? And I was very close to her, obviously. So I came to Prithvi because I was at National College in my 11th grade. And I saw everybody used to be performing and shouting and screaming in college, And Bachkundi played, like really college level plays. Either bomb blast ho gaya, to wahan se, right mein bomb blast hua, left se khoon nikal raha hai. Aise kuch nonsense ho raha tha wahan pe. And I realized that look at these guys, they're so free. And I was not really, I was quite an introvert by then, because I didn't know what to do. I was just lost. So when I saw that, a friend of mine told me that, why don't you participate? And I said, no, I'm a runner. I'll just be here. We had groups. So I just said, no, I'm good with this. And then I happened to take it very seriously. I said that my mother, when she was a mathematician, she was a teacher, mathematics teacher with CAICW. Okay, and she was a chemical engineer. So she always wanted to see me on a hoarding. Like on a bus hoarding with Mahesh tutorial, that, first ranker, merit ranker, that kind of hoarding. तभी नया हो रहा था, I think 90s, late 90s में. So she told me that I want to, like, and she just expressed this to me that I want to see you in a merit rank and all, my daughter and all that. So I said, okay. And that thing was there in my head somewhere, that my mother didn't see me on a hoarding, and 10th standard तो हुआ ही नहीं था, तभी हुआ था. So I was like, what to do? And I got really bad marks also. Hardly any what she would be proud of, because I was so upset. So I said, let's go to Prithvi Theatre and figure out how to become an actor. क्योंकि दोनों भी चीजें, एक तो मम्मी को मेरे को I needed to make my mom proud, and secondly I wanted to express myself. And when I went there, I saw Makarand Deshpande's one picture like this, Ulta, a play called Joke, if you must have watched, and another picture of Nasiruddin Shah. So I had no idea about this thing. I mean, for example, like I knew Nasir sir was an actor. I didn't know Makarand sir was an actor till then. It was so stupid and naive. So मैंने कहा ये तो actor है, ये तो chance नहीं देगा, ये तो normal new लग रहे हैं, ये तो कोई इनके पास जाते हैं. And then people around me told me, imagine I was a runner. I used to just be on field and no idea about what happens in the other world. I used to not party. I didn't have a bunch of friends, nothing. So only diet and only what Usain Bolt does and his posters and this, that. Life was only about that. 7 years of running, which is like a long time, So then I went and met him. I went to meet him. It took me some time because he's quite a personality. और मेरे आगे ना ये सुसुड़ी boys खड़े हुए थे, जो सुसुड़ी वाले होते हैं ना, वो डोले वाले. क्योंकि silhouette में से मेरे को ना दिख रहा था कि his patience is running out at the counter, at the food counter. So I was like, dude, I had a friend with me and I said, dude, how do I get through? And these boys are not going only, they're like engulfing me, like dementors. So my friend said, just slip in now, you're a girl. I said, shut up, what nonsense are you talking? That kind of conversation was happening. Then I realized, and he was asking everybody the similar question. बेटा खाने के लिए पैसे है, भाग के तो नहीं आए हो, थिएटर क्यों करना है, ये इतनी बॉडी क्यों बनाई है, these kind of things. So once he was done, I said, sir, and I thought he's a Maharashtrian, let's use a Marathi card for the first time. Because otherwise I was not really a Marathi speaking or a Hindi speaking per se person. We used to talk in convent educated. So, no man used to go on. So he asked me, what's your name? I said, Aaditi Pohankar. He's like, oh, are you related to Pandit Ajay Pohankar? So I said, oh, yeah. Yes, I am. Yes. Complete. I knew there is somebody called Pandit Ajay Pohankar in my family. But we weren't close to him. And he's my first uncle, like my kaka. He's like my dad, like very close to us. But तब उस दौर में मुझे कुछ आइडिया नहीं थी, तो मैंने कहा वो होते हैं ना बच्चे, like कोई ध्यान नहीं देता है, कोई बड़ा सिंगर है घर पे मेरा एक uncle, that kind of thing. So I said, yes, he's your uncle, right? I said, yeah, he's my uncle. Yeah, he's my uncle. So I got it from him only that he's my uncle, and I have to go. And I decided that, boss, I have to go meet him after this, uncle. So all that happened, and then he said, I should do one thing. Why do you want to do theatre? I said, sir, I just feel that I want to express myself. He said, okay, then watch these plays. It's a whole run of 1 week, and then you come back. I watched his plays. I understood, like, it was almost like I was meant to do this. It was almost like that, because the kind of sar, the rust that of the plays that I took from his plays, because I was dealing with death of a personal loss, and the play he was talking about was Miss Beautiful, which was about his parents' death. So it almost like energetically matched, manifested in a way, I would say. And that's it. The way I spoke about it, because it came from real life, personal experience, even though I was so young. He said, wow, you have a different mind. Let's explore. So I joined his theatre. तो उस तरीके से मेरा दौर तो शुरू हो गया, और फिर मैंने हिंदी पे काम करना शुरू कर दिया. थोड़ी बहुत ठीक-ठाक बोल लेती हूँ मैं.
It's the more I listen to you, it's very easy to become a fan of how you play with words.
Wow,
and the way you spoke about expressing yourself through running, and then you needing a different outlet. It was very, very beautifully put. So I do agree with Makarand sir that you do have a different mind from what you see otherwise. And then you start off on this journey. I wanted to ask you, what is the kind of cinema that has inspired you? Because now I'm assuming you're pretty sure that you want to take this up as a career, and you seem like the person who will do your research and do the background and be ready for the moment, like you were, when that call from Imtiaz came.
Right.
What are the cinema that fascinated you in this journey? What did you watch over the years, and what do you like?
Very honestly, people would say, like, I have a friend who's a photographer, Colston Julian, and he keeps saying, yeah, I know you are that actor sort and all, but you have to become more glamorous also, and you have to do this also. I said, Colston, yeah. So I watched Tarkovsky, I watched Bresson, I've watched, in the sense, this is what I have loved, because, the frame doesn't move and it speaks of life.
Yeah.
You tell me, Karthik, I might sound philosophical, but right now, at this moment, what exactly are we doing here? Is my question to myself. And it's a very, I get lost every time I ask myself that question, that what am I doing here? Agreed, we'll do this podcast. I've done She second season, I'll do third season, fourth season, whatever the hell. I'll get an Oscar, I'll get something else. But what about you as the soul who has come here? What are you doing here? What are you here for? So I felt I'm here for my cracking. I'm here for my understanding of probably, say, one emotion that I came from wherever, and I then I then eventually dabbled the quantum science, because cinema, science, spirituality, acting per se, everything is just one ball.
Yes.
So the more you understand those sides, why do you think most of the, like, for example, Tarkovsky's, there's a film called Mirror, and why do I feel connected to him when he's passed away, like how many years now? 40, how many years, right? He passed away at 45. And he passed away because he was shooting on the land where it was radioactive, apparently. So I feel like there is something more to life. And I want to bring that out in my performance. That people should say, यार इसको देख के ना कुछ अलग ही लगता है. क्यों? क्योंकि मुझे अलग लग रहा है. जो भूमि के साथ थैंकफुली हुआ, लोगों को मेरा एक माइंड समझ में आ गया एज भूमि, और वो बहुत सारी कठिनाइयों से गई है लाइफ में, where she's gone numb because of those things, It's not just a performance for me, very honestly. It's more like I have watched Bhumi so closely and I've lived every moment with her. Like, I like to fantasize life. I love magic, So I saw that her silences were always very noisy, and silences were the most important in Bhumi's performance. कि वो अभी जब भी वो quiet एक कोने में या फिर अपना line draw कर रही है, there's so much going on in her head. You can see it, you can feel it, because I felt it when I saw Bhumi as a character. I don't need lines after that. I just need to know what state of mind I am in, and I think state of mind is Imtiaz also follows. That's why we were like, wow, this works, man. The second season is some other level only. It's gone. आप मतलब ये सब छोड़ दो exterior. ये सब छोड़ दो, उसका माइंड देखो सिर्फ. I would tell the audience only this, that it's earth shattering because Bhumi is going through so many complexities of her own emotion, knowing herself within. पहले सीजन में तो ट्रेलर था सिर्फ कि भूमि को लगा कि वो भूमि है, पर जो भी चीज बहुत सप्रेस्ड होती है ना, like if you take a wire and tweak it and keep like pulling it from like a tug of war, it is going to break, and it'll break and both the parties will fall at very like large velocity. Same thing has happened with Bhumi. So eventually there will be an understanding. उसका सार भी आएगा eventually in the end, वो second season में, कि she realizes कि वो कौन actually थे अंदर से. So it's I would say for Bhumi it is teenage right now in the second season. Otherwise it was her adolescent age. Now it's her teenage where she's just rebel, where she's like trying to figure out life में क्या flavors अलग-अलग है, क्या colors अलग-अलग है, and she's riding that, kind of galloping a horse at a very, very high speed. And then eventually she will have to stop somewhere. And that stopping is nothing but freedom, what she's looking forward to through love. So very beautifully written.
It is. And, I'm still, in the sentence when you said, cinema, spirituality, life, all of them are different parts of it. And I always felt, one feeds on to the other. You become richer in something else when you do one of them, etc.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
And this, and I can now relate that to how you've interpreted Bhumi, because to me, honestly, I don't think I've ever seen. Of course, this is a series, so we get to see a lot of Bhumi than you do in a film. But that kind of a complexity, where it is not just about being the constable and being the prostitute, but in between her sexual explorations, the way she relates to situations, and the silences before she speaks, they're all fascinating. Right?
Yeah.
Cannot wait to watch season 2. And honestly, it's been a most fascinating experience chatting with you so far. We usually end the episode by asking the guest what he or she is watching, reading, listening to these days. Okay. In the little time that you have outside Bhumi, how do you de-stress? What are you watching?
I do sing for myself. My favorite rag is Malhar Yaman, जो भी बारिश के मौसम में हम उसे और भी गाएंगे. तो सुबह उठकर I do to get my mind off, to kind of disassociate with my life. Also, I do I do a certain meditation, I would say, which is like almost like how to say, like it's how you work out for your body, you work out for your mind. So you detox. Yeah. So it's very simple, and it does require a lot of, how do I say? It's Dr. Joe Dispenza is somebody I follow. He deals with quantum science and these things, neuroplasticity and all that. So it has really helped me understand so much about others, because most of your personality is made by observing others. So that's what I have realized at one point, and that work requires a lot of dedication, तो वो मैं बहुत करती हूँ सुबह, मतलब 1 घंटा में रोज 4:35 in the morning I do that at that Brahma Murta it's called. So I do that, and after that my whole day goes so wonderful, and you really don't need food after a point. You are so energetic in your head that you're not bogged by anybody else's energy, or you understand why a person is behaving the way they are. So I do that, like I've been doing it for the last 3 years. I'm continuing to do that now. And otherwise, I sing, I dance. I love to dance. I love to learn different languages, actually, because I think that is one thing I've never come around understanding कि ये बांग्ला में ये है, तमिल में ये है, इसमें ये है, और एक दूसरे को समझ लेते हैं लोग. हम सब इंसान ही है, पर मैं उसको समझ नहीं पा रही हूँ. ये क्या बात हो गई यार, So I try to learn, like right now. Recently, I'm learning Bengali from a Bengali friend of mine. And so yeah, these are small things. I'm not really been able to read much these days because there's too much happening. I'm trying to learn a little bit of like fashion and other things, because they are required now, for this whole Instagram, and trying to get used to Instagram also. Not something I like, but I'm trying to do it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, I was going to ask you how that experience was shooting Gemini Ganeshanam Surirajanam.
Oh,
that hilarious film you did. Yeah. So, which is, I think the geometric opposite to she, probably, isn't it?
No, yeah, I completely. I mean, and I like it. Sometimes that thing I did in that film, like a very simple girl, because I observed those girls in Madurai at that time, and then I did a film called Manavan Vandanadi with Selva Raghavansan. Yeah. So he is like another super, director, and
intense.
Intense, very, very, very intense. Yeah. But वही हो गया, मेरा language मुझे समझ ही नहीं आया कि मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ. And I'm saying or something like that. I'm like, what am I saying to this guy? I need to know now. मैं ऐसा करके तो नहीं write कर सकती. So then I started learning Tamil. I was like, this is how it's going to be. I'm going to do Tamil films and I'll learn Tamil. It doesn't matter. From one old auntie over here. So then pandemic happened, and then she happened. I said, चलो यार, वो हिंदी में काम कर रहे तो हिंदी का ही कुछ कर लेते हैं, that kind of thing.
Beautiful. I was in any case waiting for season 2, but now that I've gotten to know you as a person, I'm become a huge fan of the way you think, the way you express yourself. So can't wait for everything else you're going to create. Good luck for season 2 and everything else that lies ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just would like to mention, please watch She on 17th June, only on Netflix.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karthik. Talk to you soon. Yeah.
Bye now. Cheers.
Cheers.
If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcasts.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to reach out to me, I am _Karthik. That's Karthik with an H on Twitter. And Filter_Koffee. That's coffee with a K on Instagram.
There's a quick survey to fill out on ivmpodcast.com/survey. It lets us know a little bit more about who's listening to us. And you know what? We're going to do a few prizes. So, we'll do a random drawing of maybe 10 people, and we'll send you all some swag. Remember, that's ivmpodcast.com/survey where you can fill out the survey.
Do you wonder why China does the things that it does? Or want to know how we could improve online privacy? Or perhaps you're thinking about how we can kickstart India's economy? If you'd like to search for the answers to such questions, check out All Things Policy, a daily public policy podcast that covers everything from employment figures to aircraft carriers. Tune in from Monday to Friday for new episodes and fresh takes.